So, how are you? What a week in the United States, around the world. The Chinese, in conjunction with their military and the company BGI, are getting information to be used against women in prenatal tests. Wastadeles, the CCP, is into AOC. Jeff Bezos steps down to become the richest man that has ever lived and to do God knows what. Rachel Nichols has been canceled from ESPN and replaced by Maria Taylor. Diversity! The Haitian president is dead because he got killed. Who did he get killed by? I'm assuming Kevin Spacey. Luxembourg prime minister is in serious condition from COVID. Yeah, I believe that. COVID's not real. It's a flu. It's a boogaboo. It's a wastadolos.
Yannis Pappas. Yeah. When you all tucked up in the day long, and the news online going on and on. What's right and wrong, and it's something up. Now here comes a great kid you know you can trust. From the true who's who to the news and cameras to the fake politics and the propaganda. Yeah, this kid's screwed in. Got a lot to say. Oh shit, it's about to be a long day. It's a long day. It's a long day.
So I don't know, let's start with the scariest story, I think, that's really freaked me the fuck out. It doesn't take a lot to freak me out. I'm a kid with anxiety, okay? I get freaked out when I feel a pain in my back and I go, oh my God, is that my liver? Did COVID do something to my liver? But when I read this story, I seriously got chills down my spine because BGI is a Chinese company that was, again, keyword, hit the sound effect, surreptitiously providing women with prenatal tests. That's not the surreptitious part. They were providing women with prenatal tests, and they were surreptitiously recording their data to be used in conjunction with their military. So the report reveals that the company collaborated with the People's Liberation Army, the PLA, to develop and improve the test, taken in early pregnancy, as well as the scope of the BGI's storage and analysis of the data. The United States sees BGI's efforts to collect data and analyze human gene data as a national security threat. Why? Because they think they are mining for this data to make connections between weak genes and how to manipulate genes and how to get to the scary part of the article where they say, create genetically enhanced soldiers. Now, this is not from alexjones.com. This is not from any website. This is not from getyournews.net. This is from what you call Reuters. So this is what you call fucking Friday the 13th, fucking scary, Drewski. We got Drew in the house. Find that part for me, please. And what's the PLA? Okay, I call them the CCP. I call them AOC, CCP. I can't trust any politician who has an acronym for a name because China has an acronym for their government, CCP. So apparently they're trying to get this information on women so they can do eugenics, which is fun. Last episode, I did a German accent to talk about the national security law. That's in Hong Kong. Maybe I should continue to do this accent for BGI and what they're trying to do. So, can you imagine genetically enhanced Chinese soldiers? I mean, this is... Can you just not find it, Drew? It's in the article, bub. If you just read for a second. Yeah. Can you learn to read and then figure it out? And tell me when you got there. Yeah. Drew, because he is a Gen Z kid, he just watched a quick YouTube video on how to read, and he taught himself how to read. So now he knows how to read. So, as per quote in Reuters. Now, if you're a Franks and Beat kid that only goes to milosyiannopoulos.com or Breitbart, Reuters is the most reputable news organization probably left on the planet, right? So, according to Reuters, the technology could propel China to dominate global pharmaceuticals and also potentially lead to genetically enhanced soldiers. Or, here's a good one, Jess, or engineered pathogens. COVID. To target the U.S. population or food supply. I mean, is there anyone on top of the CCP and who's going to get murdered quicker in the comedy community than your old boy, Yannis LongDays? I mean, here we are. What are we talking about today in America that is not this article? What is trending right now? Please tell me it's some TikToker fucking who got canceled by Bang Energy Drink because they did the shh over the N-word, they actually said it. Because that's probably the biggest news in the sleeping giant that is America, the dormant fucking virus that we are, while AIDS, another acronym that is synonymous with the CCP, is running rampant on our fucking immune system, brother. I'm going to run wild on you. How do you do Hulk Hogan dubbed in Mandarin? The CCP has been... How many did they get? It's estimated. They've admitted that they're doing this on Chinese women, and then get to the part where they're testing this on Uighur Muslims and stuff like that. I mean, this is a news story that is available for anyone to read. They have culled this data. Here it is. China's collection and analysis of the DNA of its Uighur Muslim population, including systematic collections of samples from residents in Chongqing. I'm not even going to try to pronounce what that city is. Let's just call it Z-Town. Xinjiang. When did you just Google a YouTube video on how to say that?
Yep.
Has drawn sharp criticism. The United States sanctioned 2 BGI subsidiaries last year for what it called China's abusive DNA collection and analysis scheme to repress its citizens. BGI denied it was involved in any human rights abuses. Chinese foreign minister and said health checkups of the Uyghurs here did not collect biological information such as DNA. We just did a little fever test. So you found us out. We did target the information from these Uighur Muslims and from the town of Xinjiang. But the reason was we was just checking the temperature. We just put a little thermometer in the butt to see if they had a little fever. Why are we so interested in that? Because we are good-natured humanitarians. As you know, throughout human history, big, powerful countries always doing humanitarian stuff. You can always expect where there is a charities, there is child molestation. It's the yin and the yang of life. Catholics do charity, and then they also fuck your kids behind your back, surreptitiously. Bing! So here China is, and we're going through this article just because it's what they call wild. Things are really changing in China, Nielsen told Reuters. UC Berkeley's Nielsen told Reuters he is no longer working with BGI. He chose to end a decade-long collaboration soon after the 2018 study was published in Cell because changes to Chinese law reflected foreign researchers working with Chinese genome data. Wow, so this was a 2018 story. So this isn't a new story. So I guess Reuters is trying to just write it again to see if anyone will read it. But what happens in the United States, go to the top again, Drew. What happens in the United States, all the way to the top, my friend, to the headline. What happens is, in the United States, people they're flipping through their phones and they see their phones that were made in China. Who's to say they're not spying on every single one of us through the iPhones? They make the fucking phones. You don't think they throw a little something in there to see what you're jerking off to? They see the headline and they go, the headline reads, China's gene giant harvests data for millions of women. And us Americans go, this article's not fucking lit, dude. Got you. This ain't lit. Scroll past. And they go, oh shit, McGregor fucking Dustin Poirier this weekend, dog. Whose house are we going to? I got 75 inches on the wall in the basement. I got the seltzers. Yo, get yourself a couple Trulies and watch some fucking sanctioned violence, baby. CCP's here. What was that noise? Yeah, I'm going to be one of those guys now because I talk about this shit. You guys are going to start to notice weird behavior where I'm going like, who's that? Who is that? And you're going, there's no one there. I'm saying, who's that small Chinese man behind you? And you're going to go, we don't see it, dog. We don't do it. I'm saying, he's there. He's talking to me. And it will be a Chinese man there, but only I can see them because they are manipulating data to create genetically enhanced soldiers and to get a grip on deformities such as mental retardation and things like that, you know? So when they can slaughter someone who's going to make the nation weaker, they'll do it. We've heard this story before, except I couldn't understand the article, to quote the great George Carlin, because it was in German. So hats off. CCP, keep doing your thing. You're just trying to clean up your own country. It's your country, your business, right? Why should I care? Why should I care that you are harvesting the data from millions of women? I mean, so is I'm gonna play China's ambassador now. Okay. Hi. What's the big deal? I'm not doing the accent because I do not support Asian hate against Ali Wong Chinese. Hi, what's the big deal? We collect data, no different from Facebook, your Facebook, no different from Crate and Barrel or Barnes and Nobles, that is trying to provide you a better service on what books you would like to read or what retarded kids you want removed from your family line. Big deal. Big deal. We are providing a service that a lot of people want. They don't say they want it, but they imply they want it. It is implicit in this ungoverned contract. When you sign online, you are saying you want this. It's like when a woman walks into a bar and she's wearing a miniskirt. It's like, what's she doing outside if she didn't want to get sexually abused? Okay, it's the same principle. Why would you sign online, or why would you take this prenatal test if you didn't want me to investigate what your vagina could produce and if it could potentially produce something that would be weaker than our standard over here in CCP? Do you understand the CCP China has standards? What's wrong with you? Don't you understand they have standards for what children should be born and which genetic factors these ethnic groups have that lead to certain behaviors? Okay? Why would we not want to get rid of that? Because we have a standard. Just because you guys don't want to achieve and you just want to sit around and be lazy doesn't mean we have to be westernized. And by westernized, I mean let people live who may not be of optimum intelligence. So what are they doing? They're just engineering a zombie, pseudo-human, cyborg population of Chinese soldiers that will storm the beaches of Malibu via the Pacific Ocean, where they will be welcomed as cultural enrichers. Who will be there waving the flag? First one, Mark Ruffalo. And he will learn, him and John Cena will be standing Hand in hand. In fact, Mark Ruffalo will be on the shoulders of John Cena, waving a communist flag, saying over here, this way, just like in the movie 300 where the hunchback presented the plan of defense of the 300 Spartans to my enemies, the Persians. Such will be with John Cena and his boyfriend, Mark Ruffalo. And LeBron James will be there just staying quiet. And the Houston Rockets GM will just be quiet. And The Rock will be quiet. Because Fast and the Furious isn't even called Fast and the Furious anymore. It's called Part Senior. Do you know that the Fast and the Furious, when it goes into theaters in America, that's their testing. That's where they test it. Remember when you used to do advertisements and you get a focus group? That's the Fast and the Furious' focus group on if there was anything in the movie that offended the Chinese before they release it to the real moneymaker, which is the Chinese mainland, where a billion hungry, growing middle class, communist supported, and sanctioned people consume our explosions. And they probably don't even watch Fast and the Furious the way we do. Okay? We waddle into a movie theater with a fucking giant cherry Coke and bonbons. Okay? We're happy it's an empty theater because we could take up 2 seats. We've had to redesign movie theaters now to fit the average size American, which is a similar circumference to a rhinoceros. That's why we have beds now. Do you ever go into a movie theater now where you can just... Sitting was not relaxing enough for us. We need to lay down fully in our own bed in public in order to fucking eat popcorn out of our belly button while we watch explosions and go, wow. We just sit there and go, wow. Wow. You know how the Chinese watch Fast and the Furious? Like this. They squiggle. They squiggle with delight watching what amuses us, which is Vin Diesel, who, don't get me wrong, I haven't seen his Inside the Actors Studio, but he's up there to me. When you talk about the GOATs, I go Daniel Day-Lewis, number 1, of course. Number 2, I go Vin Diesel. Number 3, I go Gary Oldman. Number 4, I go Meryl Streep. Number 5, Cate Blanchett. Number 6, The Rock. So, yeah, those are what we have to get in now. Those are just beds. Those are just beds for big Americans, while the Chinese fold themselves up and pack themselves in 1 million per theater to watch what they consider to be a comedy. Rez Philosopher wants me to know, Yannis, dude, you're out of control. Thank you. I wasn't aware of that when I woke up with what only can be described as 1980s Charlie's Angel Pantene hair. I look like a porn star in the 70s who's about to fuck Seika. I understand I'm out of control. Okay, my hair looks like a Brillo pad. Okay? And I get a discount on goggles because my eyes are so close together. I stole your joke. Bang Axe wants to know that I'm just trying to fuck in the movies. C. Wast, like a plan to make a generation of people who are healthier, smarter, and expecting them to be subservient soldiers to a bullshit system seems pretty flawed. Yeah. What's the big deal? Asian schoolgirl laugh. Your eyes was too wide for that impression. Fuck. That is the risk when you play comment roulette and look down and read what you say. Make no mistake, the CCP will spread the squiggle through Yanni Cena. Vin also put out a couple of great songs. So I wanted to start with that article just so you could Google it for yourself. I mean, apparently it's evergreen because it's been around since 2018. But the Chinese are just trying to make a better, stronger society. And that's all. I'm reading into it too much. This is satire. This is satire. Please, God, this is satire. Anyway, it's not as big as news to me as Bill Cosby getting out of jail anyway. I mean, according to his TV wife, justice has been served. Felicia Rashad, who at this point I could only assume is 103 years old, has announced on Twitter that she was thrilled that justice has finally been served because all charges against Bill Cosby were dropped. They were dropped via a technicality, by the way. They weren't dropped because it was determined beyond a reasonable doubt that he was innocent, because there wasn't a preponderance of evidence to suggest that he was having unconsensual sex with unconscious victims, which is not cool. I mean, I'm not going to judge, but I'm going to say that's not cool, okay? I'm trying to be fair, okay, because I'm not concerned with what Bill Cosby may or may not have done, because I am currently reading Robin DiAngelo's new book, and I am currently entrenched and enthralled with critical race theory, so I can teach my daughter that we should not be paying attention to what a person has done and their individual character. Like Martin Luther King said, we should be paying attention to what cultural factors have led to the fact that Bill Cosby was raping what, let's be honest, is majority white women. Is it not his right as a black man to claim his reparations the way he chooses? I'm not saying it is. I'm just asking critical race theorists, because if there's one watching now, one will give me a good argument for why it is so. I can't judge Bill Cosby. I'm a white man. I'm going to stay silent on this issue because I need to examine my privilege and how that has helped me buy this shithole of an apartment in Bay Ridge. I want to know how that's helped me to have one of the lowest Patreons on fucking Patreon. I kid. Bill Cosby's a pig. And he got off in a technicality. And you know what that technicality is called? Money privilege. It's the same privilege that O.J. Simpson had when he got off after clearly being framed by the Clinton Foundation and Bill Gates for chopping off his ex-wife's head for fucking some waiter who was bringing her sunglasses. You would have done the same. You would have done the same. Let me tell you this right now. If I come home and there's some fucking tan waiter handing my wife sunglasses, the first thing I'm going to do is try to cut off his head. And who are you to judge me on what I do? So I'm not trying to suggest that money takes precedent over race, but I'm going to just say that it helps. Having a couple of Benjis in the pocket to spend on your legal defense, having been one of the most beloved characters by all races in America on the #1 sitcom of all time, and amassing hundreds of millions of dollars in the process, is going to help the judge go, whoopsie. What happened to this one piece of paper? Oh, it fell. So Bill Cosby's back on tour. I think just like Chappelle and Joe Rogan, Bill Cosby and Donald Trump were going to do arenas together. They would fucking sell the fuck out. Because, you know, Bill Cosby's only option right now is to go hard right. He's got to go hard right. That's the thing Louis C.K. doesn't understand. You know, and I'm not talking get accused of being hard right by some fucking dingbat blogger who blogs from his mother's basement. I'm talking about going all in. I'm making a Steven Crowder and Owen Benjamin appearance to promote my dates. Because those people will accept you. They'll take you right in and they will sell your fucking shows out. If Louis C.K. just went, fuck that dog, I'll take my dick out when I want to because I'm a libertarian and I don't believe in laws, there would have been a bunch of people that said, come perform in the hot spots of the Delta variant of Corona, where we believe the vaccine is a liquid devil that gets into your veins and turns you into a lip cucktard. I mean, it seems to be that the Delta variant is not as hot as SDT chicks. What do you think? Delta Gamma? I'm not into it. Did you ever fuck a sorority girl at finger painting school?
The presidents.
What were they called?
I said I fucked the president of sorority.
You fucked the president of a sorority. All right, Drew goes for the top, dog. You're a climber. I know that right now.
I was the treasurer of mine.
Yeah, now that I know that you're coveting my job, you're just looking at, you're a climber. You go straight to the top. You probably fucked one of the lower ranked Delta, Sigma, Delta Coronas and went all the way to the president after that. If he did it to black women, it wouldn't even make news. Okay, that's what happens when you read.
It was.
Yeah, there was black women in there. And so that's just comment roulette. When you look down, I read it. It's called tightrope walking with your career. And it's fun to watch. No, I think Bill Cosby is innocent until proven guilty. Hold on. There, the chip that they put in my brain is telling me to stop saying that. Yeah, so Bill Cosby's on the loose, but I mean, who the fuck isn't, you know? Who the fuck isn't on the loose right now? You know what he's not on the loose from? Dying in a year. What is he, 89? Who gives a shit at this point?
Blind.
Yeah, I mean, he's just going to be performing one day, doing his like, you know, where he talks to kids on stage, and he's just going to drop. So God will take care of him. Bill Cosby's sentence... Yeah, look at him. He's throwing a peace sign up. Where have we seen that peace sign before? Whenever someone's really guilty, they just throw the peace signs up. That is a Richard Nixon peace sign whenever I seen one. He just throwing up the peace sign. Because that's what Bill Cosby's interested in now, just peace. He just wants everyone to live in peace. OJ and Mayweather are innocent, cuz it is what it is. Yes, it is what it is. Mayweather, who did a little time for what they call disciplining his wife, which is his right, also got off, maybe for the reason that he makes a lot of people millions of dollars. Maybe because he makes millions of dollars and can pay the top of the line people who also pay off the people who are sentencing to get them off. Damn, money's a privilege. The color of green takes precedent over any color that people inhabit. I'll tell you that right now. One of my favorite stories, just to lighten it up a little bit. Will Cosby be at Soul Joel's this winter? Yeah. Terrible time to look down, LOL.
Look what they called the peace sign. V for victory sign.
Yeah, so they're calling, Cosby flashed a peace sign, and the AP is calling it flash the V for victory sign. So I guess that's V for victory. Yeah. Guys, I'm really excited about this new sponsor. I mean, we all travel for the summer. We all want to get out after this pandemic and travel places. And it's always nice to learn the language. Or if you wanted to learn another language, I'm using it right now for Greek because I don't speak fluent Greek. And Babbel makes it really easy with their 15-minute lessons that are based on like real-world conversations. It's not like when you were in school and you got to do all the boring stuff. This is just to get you to learn the language and be conversational and talk. It's unbelievable. The lessons are fun. They're 15-minute lessons, and it's the perfect way to learn a language on the go, okay? So you got to use Babbel, Babbel. It's the #1 selling language learning app out there. From ordering in restaurants or asking directions, you know, to gaining a better understanding of the culture, Babbel makes the whole process of learning a new language like fun. It really does. And it's real easy. And these bite-sized lessons are just so easy to digest. You can actually use this in the real world, guys. So it's a can't miss travel essential. So if you're coming up on vacation right now, you're about to go, get yourself Babbel. Download the app. Unlike a lot of the other, and this is true, unlike a lot of the other language learning apps that are based on AI and bots that teach you, this Babbel was actually designed by over 100 language experts, like actual people doing this. So their teaching method has been scientifically proven to be effective. You can choose from 14 different languages, all the popular ones, including Spanish, French, Italian, German. And plus their speech recognition technology helps you to improve your pronunciation and accent. So if you want to know how to say something, you got to get Babbel when you travel. There's so many ways to learn with this app, guys. In addition to lessons, you can access their podcasts, games, videos, stories, and even do live classes. It's absolutely amazing. So go ahead. We all want to learn another language. We should be speaking to. We should be conversational into. So you got to get Babbel. So here's the deal. Right now, when you purchase a 3-month Babbel subscription, you'll get an additional 3 months for free. That's 6 full months, 3 of them free, basically half price. So just go to Babbel.com and use the promo code LongDays, all one word, LongDays. That's Babbel.com, code LongDays. Remember, for an extra 3 months free, Babbel.com. Go teach yourself how to talk. There's so much interesting stuff happening, but my favorite is an Alabama teacher who, no big deal. She's a mentor to 2 kids. She mentored them with her puss, and she wrapped it around their glue guns, and she had sex with a 17 and 18-year-old in Alabama, where the legal age of consent is 16. So she is arguing that it was her constitutional right to have sex with these students because it was consensual. Can we just stop altogether with the female predator judgment? If a teacher is nice enough to see you after class and lend her puss to your glue gun, that is the individual attention. Let me ask you a question. Your son goes to a school. He's one of 60 kids. He's one of 60 kids in the class in the public school system in Jersey City. Okay, his name's Drew. And he's flunking math because all he can do is finger paint. Would you prefer that, where the teacher does not have time to help Drew with his math? Or would you prefer a teacher who pulled Drew aside, okay, started with a compliment of his Yeezys, then started feeling his arm and asking about his tattoo, and then started teaching him math based on how many sucks she did on his dick? Who's going to learn quicker? Who's going to learn? What is a better scenario to learn than to have the Pavlovian reward of getting your dick sucked by the person giving you the grade? I tell you what, if I went to work every day and I hated my job and all of a sudden my boss started to suck my dick every day, I may want to work there. So if I'm a student who, let's say, has ADD, instead of prescribing Ritalin, can we prescribe a few elder dick suckings? A few, how should we call it, mentoring dick suckings. She's an adult, he's an adult legally. I don't see the problem. She got fired when she should be getting a fucking ribbon. Don't you think? She should win Teacher of the Year. She should be getting a raise from the boards of education for taking time out of her day to really spend some time with the kids. First of all, is it her fault that there's a kid who's 18 that's still in the fucking high school? That's the parents' fault. Okay? If one of the kids is 18, hey man, let me tell you something. A dick sucking's not going to change his trajectory. The kid's a fucking super junior, and whether she sucked his dick or not, the kid is destined to work at an Arby's and develop a meth habit at some point. The dick sucking is not going to change anything. The other kid is 17, so she gave him a little graduation gift. He's going off into the world. Big fucking deal. Teacher of the Year. Okay, it is your constitutional right, Mrs. What's her name? Plus, it's an Alabama dick suck, so there were no teeth involved. It was a good gummy dick suck.
Her name's Carrie Cabri Witt.
Cabri Witt?
Carrie Witt.
Carrie Witt.
Cabri's her middle
So
name.
let's take a look. Carrie Witt, 47, entered a blind plea of guilty to one count of engaging in a sex act with a student in March. Witt will spend 18 months in state prison. God, that dick cost you some time.
Shit.
And the rest of the sentence will be on probation. She's also required to register as a sex offender. Are we really going to do that? I mean, is there a little bit of a difference between Carrie Cabri Witt and some guy who, when you check your registered sex offender app, is registered sex offender because he felt up some 14-year-old on a bus? Are we going to really pretend like there's an equivalency here, that they're tantamount? One is a predator, one is a good gal.
I wouldn't catch her.
Huh?
I wouldn't catch her on YouTube.
What do you mean you wouldn't catch her?
The Predator YouTube.
Oh, you check out Drew hurt his leg chasing a predator in New Jersey. So Drew, his other job is
Vigilante.
A vigilante YouTuber who sets up usually ethnic English as a second language predators.
It's New Jersey.
In New Jersey. It's New Jersey, so you gotta, when in Rome.
Yeah.
So Drew, what's the channel again?
Predator Catchers Alliance.
Predators Catchers Alliance, where you can see Drew's nifty camera work and running ability when him and his boy track down and clean up Jersey from all these predators. They make them call their wives, their kids, and it's very entertaining. And the show, I can't compete with that. Here's the thing. If you have a prank show, you're going to be a success. Why is everyone just not pinking prank shows? Nobody's watching TV. I would just go and say, hey, how about this? Okay, I throw shit in people's faces on the bus. Just buy it. Trust me, if you want eyeballs, you'll get it. How about this one? I go to the hood and I pretend to say something racist, okay? People will tune in to see if I get punched in the face. Give me the money, people will watch it. Show me one prank show on YouTube that does not have a gazillion hits. Okay? Now, actually, Drew and, what's his name? Dr. Oz, who he works for.
Rami.
Drew and Rami are actually doing a good thing. I mean, they're putting their rife. I'm sorry. I did not mean that in an Ali Wong. It's just Yannick Biden's. I didn't mean right. It just came out that way. Drew and Dr. and Rami are certainly in danger because one of those times, one of those guys are going to turn around and just be like, "You guys work for the police? Are you police?" And they're going to go, "No, man, call your wife. Why would you do that, my guy?" And they're just going to go, "You're not the police?" I'm going to go home tonight to my wife and kids. I'm only doing that accent because that's the only accent I've heard on Predators Alliance. It's just one of those neighborhoods that's mostly Hispanic, right?
My neighborhood. Yeah.
Yeah, it's your neighborhood. Have you ever hooked up with a white girl? Or are we the first white people you've seen?
College.
In college?
High school, there was none.
There was none. So you hooked up with a lot of Puerto Ricans.
Exactly.
Some guy, AJ Lunt, wants us to know we could just call it To Catch a Greek. So Jeff Bezos has stepped down from Amazon. He handed the company off into good hands, and he's focusing all his attention into getting to space. Is that what he is? He's also become the wealthiest person who's ever lived. So his wealth record right now is $211 billion. $211 billion. You know, most people will never make $211,000. He's got $211 billion. Do you know how much money $1 billion is? He's got 211 of those. So I would assume when somebody retires with $211 billion, the only thing to do is open a comedy club in Austin or try to go to space, dog. Rogues, I'm just giving you a little advice. After the comedy club is a success, because everything you do is a success, it's time for you to build a comedy club on Mars. Yeah. That's it. That's the last thing left for him to do. It's easy for us to judge these guys and say, like, what are they doing? They're trying to conquer the world. It's like, do you know how these guys are built? You know, these rich people are built where they're looking for the next thing. And when you've climbed all the way to $211 billion, and you've already had every willing prostitute sign an NDA to step on your balls with stilettos to even yourself out, when you have frequented every single dungeon in the East Village and around the country and had yourself strapped up and whipped, so while they put Cheese Whiz in your ass and spray so you could come, the only thing left is to explore space. Jeff Bezos has always had an eye on space, pun intended. He's had one eye on his business, the other eye on the heavens. You know what I'm saying? At some point, someone in his life said, yo, man, you want to put a patch on that thing? He said, nah, dogs, that's me staring at the stars. One eye just got locked at the stars.
Look at this.
Jeff Bezos, he makes $321 million per day. So it's a little bit more than Drew. Just a tad. Oh, he makes $3,715 per second. So he just made he just made 3,715 and just keep going. But now he stepped down, which is a smart move because in the next couple years, there's a very good chance that he will get decapitated in front of Amazon headquarters in Virginia. It's not their headquarters, but their new offices. Because the French Revolution is probably coming and there's nothing we can do. So he steps down and some other guy is taking his place. His name is Jeff something, right? What's his name? Andy Jaffe is taking the reins of Amazon. And let's see if Andy Jaffe could make this into a profitable company. God, the joke would have been better if I didn't fumble it on country. Maybe Andy Jaffe could turn it around. Maybe Andy Jaffe can call The Prophet on what's that channel The Prophet's on? Where he comes and saves businesses? No, it's on some channel. Prophet. It's a show where the guy comes in and turns around failing businesses.
Gordon Ramsay, Hell's Kitchen. Kitchen Nightmares.
This is like, that's lingering cigarette smoke from before I got caught smoking by my wife. And now I'm dipping. Let's throw a snooze in. Let's have a snooze break. This is Swedish snooze. It's not bad for you at all. It's healthy. It's better than smoking. The cancer will just stay around here. And so, you know. So yeah, maybe he can turn it around and right this ship, because I tell you what, if there's a company that's in need of help in understanding how to make profits, it's Amazon. So Jeff Bezos, you did it, man. You climbed to the top, dude. Now get in that fucking rocket ship and get your balls stomped on in another atmosphere. It's the only thing left for you to do, dog. So hats off to him stepping down and pursuing that, just at the same time that the Pentagon cancels its contract that they were trying to make with Microsoft, because originally I think the contract was going to go to Amazon, but because Jeff Bezos and Trump were beefing, Trump gave it to Microsoft, and there was some contention there. Bezos was pissed, but the Pentagon canceled its contract. What the fuck was the contract for that they're making a contract with Amazon and Microsoft? What else could it be besides collecting data or finding out more about us? You know, we like to criticize the CCP, but it's like the whole entire fucking internet is just being used to mine your data and sell it. That's why when people say, I don't want to watch any ads, I don't want to donate to your Patreon, cool, don't. Because you know what the only model that will be, we will give you this service for free in exchange for knowing what your cum face looks like when you jerk off to guys on guys that your wife doesn't know about. You know, this is a crazy thing that runner is not going to be allowed to run in the Olympics because she smoked a little marijuana. If there's an opposite of a performance enhancing drug, isn't it weed? I guess they were worried about her representing America and just getting to the starting line and being like, nah, dude, you go ahead. I'm going to hang back and eat some Takis. This is a crazy story. Yeah, I mean, this girl works her whole life to get into the Olympics, and it's taken away because she smoked. She smoked a banned substance. The merit of the World Doping Agency rules related to THC should be reevaluated. Is someone's? You think maybe we take another peek at that? It's just horrible that she's got to be the one to suffer, so this gets reexamined. Although on the flip side for her, again, she's known now. She's known. I mean, she could have like a law written after her, and she's going to be on every news channel now, and she's somebody. So, but good for her for smoking a little fucking joint. Hey, guess what? Guess what to the people who judge her, and guess what to these committees that make these decisions? You guys aren't running in the fucking Olympics representing your country. Do you know what kind of stress that comes with? You're going to want to take the edge off a little bit by having at least a Lucy or a puff of purple haze.
She found out her mother died. That's why she smoked.
Oh, even worse. The girl took a little puff because she wanted to deal with the fact that her mother died, and now she can't run in the Olympics. What kind of example are we setting? Are we a free country or what? But it's not even this country. It's the Olympics, right? It's the International Tribunal of fucking stiff white guys who never ran a race in their entire life. Okay? I can understand if she was doing some Jackie Joyner-Kersee shit. I think Jackie Joyner-Kersee was like, before the races, was it her or the other one who was caught? A few of them were caught. And that was back then when you're like, yo, is that a guy? They got caught doing everything, dog. I mean, I think before the meets, they took testosterone, steroids. I think they threw a little cocaine in there. Yeah, a couple of bumps. Just really get that motor going. But that was a different time. Ben Johnson got caught, right? Remember, Ben Johnson looked like a superhero. And he beat Carl Lewis. To Carl Lewis's credit, he just looked like a fast guy. He didn't look like a superhero. And Carl Lewis got robbed. He almost got robbed as bad as Roy Jones Jr. in Korea. That was the worst robbery of all time when they gave it to that Korean guy. If you aren't holy as St. Peter, you are banned from the Olympics. Yeah, it's really ridiculous. It's an IOC rule, okay? And someone wants me to settle down Luke St. Simon. Yanni's eyes are doing a 100-meter dash. Yanni's eyes are doing a 100-meter dash towards each other. That's district.dc2. Yes, they are doing a 100-meter dash towards each other. That's Ben Johnson. I mean, look at that kid, man. Yeah, he beat Carl Lewis, and that was not right. And he was Canadian, wasn't he? Seoul Olympics. That Olympics was mired in controversy. That Roy Jones Jr. decision was one of the worst decisions I've ever seen in my life. Rachel Nichols, while we're talking about sports, Rachel Nichols and Maria Taylor. Talk about two people who may not go to dinner together again. Probably close friends before this. Now, if you're not a sports fan, I'll tell you the story. Rachel Nichols, she hosts a very popular show that she co-hosts on ESPN with athletes all the time. Rachel Nichols is always, especially after George Floyd, being very vocal on civil rights and so far as sometimes to get a little woke in what she says. Unfortunately for Rachel Nichols, she was caught off camera by a microphone saying that Maria Taylor was hired to do a job that she believes she deserves. And based on her resume, she kind of does. But because of ESPN's push for diversity. So it's been a big scandal, and she will not be working the finals, Rachel Nichols, because of this. And Maria Taylor is. This is a fascinating story because I think they were friends. They're friends, right? So, I mean, talk about two girls who aren't besties anymore. Yeah. She basically was suggesting that Maria Taylor had gotten the job because she is black. And Nichols, obviously, is white. So Steven Jackson, I think, the basketball player, I think defended Rachel Nichols, which is wild because he was like friends with George Floyd. So he defended her, right? He did. He defended her. So this is kind of, I think a few basketball players might have defended her because they love Rachel Nichols. But the only thing I have to say about this, there you go. Steven Jackson criticized on Twitter after defending Rachel Nichols. Let's hear what he says.
We all ramble. We say things when we frustrated, and you know, Rachel did deserve that job. It's just plain and simple. I talked to Rachel, and I know a lot of things she was saying out of frustration because ESPN put her in a bad position, and they even put Maria in a position trying to give Maria a sympathy job. They was trying to make themselves look good because all the Black Lives Matter and the George Floyd stuff was going on. So ESPN tried to make themselves look good by taking the job from Rachel that she had already had, that they'd already told her she had, that she deserved, and give it to Maria just to make themselves look good. It wasn't a genuine job they wanted to give Maria. It's ESPN's behind all this, boy. It's all their fault. You know what I'm saying? I can't blame Rachel. I love Rachel, and I'm going to stand behind her. I spoke to her, and I'm going to stand behind Maria, too. But ESPN, y'all some suckers. Y'all some suckers because y'all did this. Y'all tried to give Maria a job, and it wasn't genuine. And look what happened. Come on, man. It's all ESPN fault. We love both of them.
Very complicated story. Very complicated story. Now, what are the chances you think that Steven Jackson may be laying a little pipe in Rachel Nichols? I'd say 10% chance based on that video. But, I mean, he's making that point. I mean, Rachel Nichols usually did that job. Yeah, there's the memes of Steven Jackson in a Superman outfit carrying Rachel Nichols. The internet is undefeated. It's funny, but that's his point that he's making. Here's the deal. Neither one of them deserve it because what the hell are women doing on the sidelines of a male sport? Okay, get back in the kitchen. That's the way we solve this. I'm joking. I jest. Steve Jackson is a Freemason, but the kid isn't lying. Okay, so here he is. He's part of the Illuminati. Democrats are CCP spies that want to bring America down. Yanni Dime Eyes. Your hair is borderline Trump's wig. If she fucked more black basketball players, she wouldn't have lost the job. And then we just got a DeSantis 2024 in there. So, comment roulette, baby. You look down and whatever you get, you get. Women reporters should have sliders ready to eat at the end of each game. I don't know what that means.
They should be cooking.
You know what's funny is my wife hates female reporters. It's funny. And my wife's obviously a feminist or whatever, but she just hates, like, she's like, what are they doing at the game? Like, blah, 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 blah. Look, female reporters are great. I know both of these reporters from their work. I don't know them personally. Here's the deal. Who gives a fuck who's on the sidelines? All you got to do is ask a fucking question to the coach that interrupts his flow and his concentration. They should ban it altogether. Why the fuck are we talking to the coach? Popovich was the one that had the appropriate response every time. He would just go, no, yup, sorry, I'm not giving you any information. What the fuck, dude? There's spies that are watching this that could text the coach. I don't want you to know how I feel. It's just stupid. The fans don't care about it. I don't know why they do it. Maybe to justify jobs. I don't know why. No basketball fan, even casual basketball fans, want to hear from anyone. I don't even want to hear the athletes after the game. You know, they all say the same shit. What's going on? We just played hard, you know, just my teammates were good. We won this one. We still got to play better. Tomorrow's a new time. I'll see you tomorrow. We're not there for the interviews. So I think this is just an example of how problematic it is to have women in the workforce. End of story. You know? Or We should say Rachel Nichols.
Rachel Nichols.
Rachel Nichols, do you support diversity? Yes or no? And of course, she's going to say yes. Okay. Well, you need to give away your job. Mark Ruffalo, do you support diversity? Yes, I do. I also do not support the genocide that the Israelis are doing, as you read from my tweet, but I apologize for it. But yes, I support diversity in all things. Are you willing, Mark Ruffalo, to have the Hulk played by Michael B. Jordan instead of you? Yes? Yes? Are ya? I think this is a great example of why saying you support something's not good enough. You got to give it up. Next week, this podcast will be hosted by Yamanika Sanders. I am stepping down. Her name is close enough to mine. This will be called LongDays. And if you follow her, shout out to her. I love her to death. She's one of the funniest women in the world. And if you go to her Instagram, you will find that my days are short compared to hers. She is a fucking Norwegian summer, baby. 24 hours a day. I'm a New York City summer. I get dark around 9. Yamanika keeps the lights on 24 hours a day like a Greek diner. So I will be replaced by Yamanika Sanders in what will be called a long day with Yam Anika Sanders. And I'm willing to say that right now. I support diversity and up you till I want to go starving and homeless to support it. Rachel Nichols, how much do you support diversity? You claimed it many times. The first thing you should do is give up your job for Maria Taylor, who happens to be much more of a piece than you anyway. I support whoever's the biggest piece. That's what I say. Is that misogynistic? Or is that just good marketing strategy?
Doris Burke.
Yeah, let's take a peek at Doris Burke. I mean, the basketball players love Doris Burke. Yeah, everyone loves Doris Burke. And, like, who cares? My favorite announcer is Kevin Harlan. Right between the eyes! You think whenever Kevin... I just worked with his daughter, but what can you do? You ever think... I mean, a kid's got like 6 kids because I think he's Irish. You think at one point after he made a kid, he just screamed at his wife, right between the eyes. He's an exciting announcer. I mean, she's a piece. Which one's more of a piece? You see, I don't see color. I see who's more of a piece. And I'm going to go, they're both pieces, but I'm going to give it to Maria as an absolute bona fide piece. Okay? Rachel Nichols looks like she could be the mommy and me teacher for my daughter. She could be running a mommy and me off her porch. Whereas Maria just looks like a stone cold for Rome dime piece. So those are 2 girls who won't be liking each other's photos anymore. So the San Francisco crime rate is through the roof. Every city. Can we pull up crime stats? I mean, San Francisco is hilarious because people are just running into stores and just stealing stuff like they just realized that cops are too out of shape to run up those San Francisco hills. Do you know how easy it is to shoplift in San Francisco if you're the least bit in shape? All you have to do is run up one of those hills and the cops will give up halfway. I mean, San Francisco is going through an absolute crime wave. And I think it's because the cops have not been defunded enough. There's too many cops on the street making people feel scared. And follow my logic. Those scared people are then running into stores to only feed their families. Because as you know, as AOC pointed out, crime happens when people are desperate. And what do people steal most? PS5s. Computers, things that give you a basic level of sustenance. So AOC is correct. Okay? She said famously, or I should say infamously, depending on who you support, during the initial gun crime wave in New York, there was an incident that was well reported on where a man walked up to another man who was walking with his daughter and shot him in the head. And she said, this crime wave is because people are desperate for groceries. And I said, I see what you're saying, because this guy just shot the guy in the head and drove off. He left his wallet because he got his PayPal account and didn't need his wallet to get groceries. It was a grocery crime. You know, usually that's what I think. That's what I think. When I see people looting a Target, I'm going, you know what? These people, this guy walking out with a flat screen TV is going to fucking make a nice meal out of that flat screen TV and feed his family. So look at what's going on in San Francisco. There is like an absolute mass exodus out of San Francisco where people are moving out because the policies that they support are leaving a little boo-boo in their quality of life. 1 in 145 people in San Francisco, you have a 1 in 145 chance statistically to be a victim of a crime in San Francisco. Violent crime. Oh, even worse. Okay, you have a 1 in 145 chance. I'm going to say this honestly. Where I live, you have a -4 chance to be a victim of a violent crime. So whatever your politics are, at the end of the day, nobody's anything when they're thinking about the safety of their family. So I think what we need is less cops in the street to solve this. Go back up for California. You have a 1 in 227 chance. So California's a big-ass state. It's a big-ass state. That's a little number for a big-ass state. What's New York? And you know how we call it. We don't call it New York. We call it de Blasio's New York. What's de Blasio's New York numbers? And let's compare those to Bloomberg. How you doing? This is Sean Terry. Now, I came up. He ran the city like a fucking business. You got to give him fucking credit. He ran the fucking city like a business, Bloomberg. So what? He got rid of the fucking Slurpees. So what? He was a communist on the fucking Slurpees. The kid ran the fucking city like a business. Let's fuck up a nice city with bad policies, learn nothing, and then move somewhere else and repeat, yay, white people. That's from a black guy. Thank God. Please don't mug me. The only time looking like a poor kid is socially powerful. The probability of me shooting someone has gone up exponentially here in Seattle. So he's saying the opposite. He's saying because Seattle's so annoying, the probability of him shooting someone has gone up. Very funny. Your glasses look like the 4 for $20 box set at Marshall's waiting line. Thank you. Comment roulette. You look down and you read what you say. Ladder fucking 14, Sean Terry. So here's New York. New York right now, you have a 1 in 188 and 1 in 279. Not good. Not good. So crime is up substantially in cities, in all cities. So what can you do? The truth is rough. The truth is because cops have been, their morale is gone. Nobody wants to work on the force. Nobody wants to interact with anybody because they're getting filmed. You know, I'm not saying it's for bad reason, obviously. So, you know, there's been some obvious abuses of power and some targeting of minorities for sure. But the unintended backlash of that, I think, is that all cops are vilified. And that's the problem. When you start saying things like abolish the police and defund the police, the good cops are going to feel vilified. They're going to feel like they can't win no matter what because you see them in a uniform and you instantly vilify them because the media has supported this narrative that there's this epidemic of cops shooting unarmed people. And yeah, they shoot too many. But overall, when you compare them to interactions, obviously it's a very, very small percentage. Too much, albeit too much. But to call it an epidemic, I think could be what they call histrionics. But definitely people are upset. They have the right to be upset. But the problem is when the media runs with it, supports leaps in logic, doesn't allow statistics to be analyzed, and doesn't allow contravening evidence to be explored that doesn't support that hypothesis, what you have is this runaway belief that all cops are evil. There's no question that that is the cause of this. Imagine you were a cop. You know, as the old Native American wisdom saying goes, put yourself in somebody else's moccasins. Imagine you're just a good cop, a law-abiding cop, and you see something going down. Are you going to chase the kid now if he runs? I'm not getting involved. I feel like everyone's against me. I feel like the politicians are against me. I feel like the people are against me. And so they're just not fucking willing to put their lives on the line anymore to deal with this very dangerous and often tragic job where you have to make these split-second decisions. You know, do they need more money? I think they need to be better funded with training. I think it needs to attract better people. More money. Spent right. Not wasted. Not given away for bonuses, for tickets and shit like that when you're harassing populations like you did in Ferguson. You know, the cops can be corrupt. There's no question of that. There's so many examples of that. The blue wall of silence is bullshit. But if you want to know what's behind the crime scene, I don't think it's that. I think it is the morale is gone. Nobody wants to be a cop right now. Why would you want to be a cop right now?
Be a firefighter.
Everyone wants to be a fucking firefighter. And everyone calls these firefighters heroes because they don't do the corrupt shit. It's like, you know what the police department calls them? They have some name for them where they steal. They go into buildings and they steal. You've heard that, right? They steal. They go into these buildings that they're supposed to be, and they just steal shit. And they loot shit. And the reason why the cops resent them so much is because they get paid more to do less. They just sit around and cook dinner. They say that their fucking firehouses are beautiful because a lot of these guys do contracting on the side because they can have a side job because they don't work the fucking hours cops do. And they sit there and they cook chicken franchise and watch Adam Sandler movies while these guys are walking the beat trying to figure out what's in this fucking guy's hand when they stop him. And they get paid less to do that. So the cops, and let me be honest, they're right. The cop's job compared to the firefighter's job is a lot harder, a lot more dangerous, and the firefighter's job is a little cushy in comparison.
1 day on, 3 days off.
1 day on, 3 days off, overtime. 1 day on, 3 days off. Well, and they can switch each other, right? It's like, I'll cover you on this one, you cover me on this one, and then if you don't cover for the guy, you get the reputation of a guy who won't do the other guy's hours. So it's like on some system where the firefighters, as long as they got enough men, is all that matters. Whereas cops, that's not how it works.
And overtime is crazy.
Crazy money in overtime. What I do, I went down to Breezy Point there and they were having a parade. They were doing one of those fucking fairy parades, so all I had to do was fucking stand there, and I got fucking overtime. Yeah, I got fucking overtime because I called my sister and said, call in, a cat's in a tree. So my sister fucking called it in from a payphone. So we fucking went out there. If you don't think that happens, you got another thing coming. Where they don't have one friend just call from a fucking payphone, whatever one's left, and say, hey man, just make a call. I'm about to check out, but I need a couple $100 to take the kids to Disneyland. So what's going to happen? There's going to be a little fire. A little fire. Because there's a cat stuck in a tree and me and the guys got to go out after hours and get that overtime. That happens. Cops do all types of corrupt shit too, though. Yeah. They get all this funding for shit they don't use, What can you do? It does need to get cleaned up. There does need to be an eye. These unjust killings by police needs to be looked at. But this general environment, this general perspective now that cops are evil is just the most fucking ridiculous thing you've ever heard in your entire fucking life. Grow the fuck up, because you'll say all that shit until you need the cops. You'll say all that shit till the crime wave comes to your fucking house. And then what are you going to do? You're going to fucking move away. to where they don't need cops because there ain't no crime. You fucking hypocrite. Am I wrong? Rihanna's home got breached while she was in New York. Some guy climbed over her wall. Dare I say, a man in love. A man in love. How could one of these women just not fall in love with their stalker? Who's willing to go to that extent to climb over the woman's wall? Yeah, so Rihanna's $6.8 million home in the Hollywood Hills, you know, down there with the people, that she rents for $35,000 a month. So she rents it out. She Airbnbs that shit. Was breached by a wall-hopping intruder while she was in New York City. Dare I say there's a chance that that intruder was Chris Brown? No, who knows who it was. But, I mean, stalking is very scary and sad, but you have to admit there's something a little funny about a guy who's willing to scale a wall just to, like, get a glimpse of you. It's like, it's a mental illness on a level that's hard to understand. Firefighters are a bit shocked. When I was a server, they all paid separately by debit, and it took like 15 minutes to ring them up. Why is that, Drew? I'm at the firehouse watching this, eating buffalo chicken wind dip.
They're probably volunteers who paid separate.
I breached Maurice's home and sniffed her dirty pantaloons. So there you have it. So she's safe. She wasn't there. She was with
A$AP Rocky in Harlem.
She was A$AP Rocky. Somebody jumped over her fucking wall. If you're gonna try to get into one of these houses right there, I mean, you got another thing coming, dude. These people have such security fucking cameras. They're gonna catch you. They will catch you.
Chris Brown talking about him. His cleaning lady suing him because his dog like ripped her face up.
His dog?
Like
who'd he get the dog from? Michael Vick?
Probably.
So that's it, guys. Texas is getting ready to put their law, our favorite relief pitcher, the disabled governor extraordinaire, is laying down the law. I texted it to you, Jess. And let's take a peek. You know, I don't go one way or the other. I just support the perspective that right-wing people stop calling left-wing people like retards and cucks. Most of them are not. It's the loudest voices on Twitter that are saying the most outrageous stuff. And more importantly, because I see this more often, is left-wing people stop caricaturing conservative people as these fucking morons who are evil or like idiotic, okay? Because most of them are not. Most of them are not. Most of everyone are just good people that lean left or right, and they have reasons to, and usually those reasons have to do with self-interest. Sometimes there's some ignorance on both sides, but for the most part, people are competent, okay? They're adults. The problem is that children are interested in politics now. That's what's really become the problem. Is like teenagers and young people have access to all this information about policies and votes and stuff like that. And these people don't work on their own. They don't live on their own. They don't have any life wisdom yet. And they're the ones who have all the time to shout the loudest on the internet and make themselves feel like heroes so they can feel like they're doing something when they often don't have any experience to back up what they're talking about. That's the difference. That's what's going on in this country is young people are involved in politics, which can be good, obviously, because they push for a lot of good progressive things. But obviously, there's always a yang where there's a yang. And that's the yang of it, is a lot of these people are just young, fucking unexperienced people shouting about stuff they have no experience or detailed knowledge of, because who the fuck has the time to read the whole bill anyway? Wouldn't you rather just get the breakdown from Rosario Dawson's Twitter account? Can you pass me the phone? No. Oh, there it is. You guys are getting efficient. So, the Texas legislation. Now, which one of these sounds unreasonable? Because liberals are pissed about this. Okay? Let's put our liberal hats on. And by liberal hats, I mean pussy hats. Guys, put them on. We have them here in the office. Jesse just put his on. Drew put his pussy hat on. I'm putting my proverbial pussy hat on. Here we go. Bail reform. Legislation reforming the bail system in Texas to protect the public from accused criminals who may be released on bail. I don't know what the details of that are, but that sounds pretty reasonable. No? Yeah. Even with my pussy hat on. Once you have kids, you're going like, I'm conservative on crime. Election integrity. Legislation strengthening the integrity of elections in Texas. Again, I don't know what that means, but it sounds good. This is probably just like a general synopsis brought to you by Breitbart, where like the details are like, election integrity. If your skin color is a little darker than this, you cannot vote. I don't know what the details are. Someone email them to me. Social media censorship. This one I like. Legislation safeguarding the freedoms of speech by protecting social media users from being censored by social media companies based on the user's expressed viewpoints, including by providing a legal remedy for those wrongfully accused from a platform. Wow, I don't know about that. But I guess if the people in Texas want to pay their public funds to support public representation for these people, I guess that's what that's insinuating, to sue Facebook. Be careful, Texas taxpayers, because Facebook has deep fucking pockets. Article X funding, legislation providing appropriations to the legislature. Boring. Family violence prevention. It's too long for me to read. Youth sports. Here's the spicy one. Are you ready for the spicy one, Jesse Scatoro? Legislation identical to Senate Bill 29 as passed by the Texas Senate in the 87th legislature regular session, disallowing a student from competing in university interscholastic league athletic competitions designated for the sex opposite to the student's sex at birth. Can we just talk simply, dog? Just say, hey, we're not going to let any fucking trans people in women's sports. That's what that means. I disagree. Let's make women's sport a little bit more interesting. Let the men compete if they're women now. It's your issue. It's really your issue. I don't care. Abortion inducing. You can't take any drugs that are mailed to you to have an abortion. So strengthens the law applicable to the reporting of abortions and abortion complications and ensures that no abortion-inducing drugs are provided unless there is voluntary and informed consent. So that doesn't seem unreasonable. It's like, hey, we want some sort of formal chain of command here, I guess, and some medical consultation on whether you can take a drug to have an abortion. Or maybe that is unreasonable because they're getting rid. Is that a fancy way of saying no more morning after pill?
Yeah.
Fuck that, dog. Yeah. I do not agree. The morning after pill, or as I like to call it, backing up the catcher.
I made a lot of morning after pill smoothies for girls in the morning.
There you go, Drew. Come to Drew's smoothie shop where he mixes in a morning after pill. Jesse's shaking his head, these fucking Gen Xers. Yeah, I like to call it backing up the catcher. Yeah. You know how like when in baseball, yeah you got to run behind the catcher in case the catcher, that's what the morning after pill is. Yeah. Just the pitcher backing up the catcher on a plate of the plate. Just in case. Another big one. We'll skip all the boring ones. Critical race theory. Big controversy now. Is it being taught as said by only college professors and law school? Or is it being taught in high schools, junior high school, and below? We don't know. Republicans claim it is. Liberals claim it's not. It's only in college and law school. But legislation similar to House Bill 3979 concerning critical race theory, as originally passed by the Texas Senate, blah, 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 we're backing it up. Saying no more critical race theory in schools. I guess that's what they're saying. I'd like my kid to know about her privilege. I'm like, hey, girl, you were born a Greek immigrant to Greek immigrant kids. Your grandfather's father was a slave himself, but I want you to know in this country, you are privileged. And that's it. The rest of it is just boring shit. So it looks like this Texas, all these Texas laws are laws that you're seeing in Florida and Texas and other Republican states. And they're going after voter fraud, what they think is voter fraud and all these things. The devil's in the details. And obviously these are issues that people are very split on. So we will see who's going to win, shirts or skins. Only time will tell. I got my money on the Chinese. Now, for a few of our small business shout outs. Of course, we got Eastside Cheesecake. Now, the time has finally come where me and Jesse have tasted Eastside Cheesecakes. We got a few flavors. We got key lime pie. We got a little sprinkles, little multicolored sprinkles. Birthday cake. It was absolutely delicious. Now, if you're on a diet, good cheat meal. If you're not on a diet, go for it. If you're obese, I'm sorry, I cannot support Eastside Cheesecakes, except for a special occasion, which is a meal, because you're going to do it anyway. Eastside Cheesecakes is absolutely delicious. Thank you, Julia and Gregory, for finally sending me my fucking cheesecake via the mail. So what we ate wasn't even as fresh can be, and it was absolutely perfect. Eastside Cheesecakes, also available at Uncle Paulie's Deli. Uncle Paulie's. So, EastsideCheesecakes.com, Eastside Cheesecakes on the gram. Check it out. Start at the gram. Start following them there. If you're in the Los Angeles area, go to Eastside Cheesecakes. This dude, Omar, who's a big-time Patreon member, he went and took a picture with them and got some cheesecake. So, there you go. Support Eastside Cheesecakes. It's a fun thing. They're part of the show now, and everyone knows Eastside Cheesecake. So order them for your birthday. Maybe they'll fuck them send them to you. I don't know. Go to their website, eastsidecheesecakes.com, and there's the discount right there that you can see that Jesse threw up. So go in and put that promo code in. Get yourself some fucking cheesecake. Support these small businesses, guys. It's very important, or if everything ends up looking like a fucking Walmart, and it's gross. Joseph DeMonte over at Blue Agave, or as I like to call it, the catering hall that's going to host Drew's graduation party. Blue Agave, Bay Ridge, all one word on the gram. Go follow them there and go to 3rd Avenue in Bay Ridge and check out Blue Agave, Joseph DeMonte. Max, Mr. Good Guy Long, Good Guys Refrigeration. Unfortunately, he's got to downsize. He's not going to be one of our sponsors anymore. So a level's opening up, guys. As soon as his membership is over, you guys get in there. I'm not touching it. There's only a certain amount of slots. So we're going to say goodbye to Max, Mr. Good Guy Long for the last time. Good luck, whether you're fixing fridges or whatever you're doing, smoking weed or showing me your backyard in Palm Springs via video.
This is his last read.
This is his last read. So I just want to play taps for Max, Mr. Good Guy Long. He was a good guy. He was a good guy, and he cracked open a lot of fridges, and he cleaned them out in Palm Springs, Seattle. So I think he may be going to work for Antifa now. Now we got exclusiveautoshipping.com. If you're moving your car anywhere, go to exclusiveautoshipping.com. Get your nationwide free quote from Jared Z. Then, of course, we got Rob's Mental Playground. Boy, is it a playground. We have our hyena in a bathtub painting that's on our main set that you'll see in the next episode with Kelsey Cook. Thank you, Rob. Go. He's got a little discount, too, for long haulers if you want to buy. If you're not buying a fucking painting, if you don't have a painting hanging in your house by Rob from Rob's Mental Playground, then are you a fan? Go buy one of this kid's fucking Prince t-shirts. They're all wild. The kid's out of his mind in the best way. Rob'sMentalPlayground.com, YouTube, Rob's Mental Playground, Graham, Rob's Mental Playground. Then we got, of course, our big time glue gunner who's getting your fucking video. I'm getting your video. Okay? Mike Milanoff. I mean, this kid wants his fucking video from Long Island Larry. I'm getting it. You're going to get it. Okay? You're going to get it. All right? I want you to go to Thix Nation on the gram, and I want you to comment funny things on his pictures because he's a wild kid who he dresses like a Japanese hip-hop backup dancer. He dresses like a Japanese game show host. The kid is in all styler clothing. He's in like the top of the line shit. The kid, he can't keep his hands off of fucking Saint Laurent or Burberry's. And he's a fun kid. Mike Milanoff, our favorite Bulgarian. The only Bulgarian I've ever known. And I don't know him. But Thix Nation, Thix Nation on the gram. Go follow him and light his photos up with long hauler comments. Be funny. Thix Nation. Go let him know. I told you, he looks like a guy who chokes out cats. And of course, and he's our big time glue gunner. He's the king. I mean, he gives the most. So, kid's got a little loot. He's doing good in life. Pandemic didn't hurt Thix Nation one bit. And then, of course, we got our Hawaii dogs. Who are they again? Aaron Leaf. Not related to Leif Erikson. Yanni, wait, goes straight to his eye bags. Thank you, Dio Brandon. And then someone said, you mean his eyebrows. Thank you, Dylan Bond, sing actor. I do a 5K donation. I can be on the podcast. You got it, my friend. You fucking got it. DM me.
I'll pick him up.
DM me. Yanni, your toupee is sweating. So who do we got? This last guy.
For the free US.
For the free.us. Go support local Hawaii talent. Okay? It's free. This kid just wants Hawaii singers and music acts to stay in Hawaii. He doesn't want you guys leaving the island. So go to forthefree.us, check out the artists, support them, support the local art scene in Hawaii, and thank you to you for supporting LongDays, forthefree.us, and you have Pata. Is that him? It's a big Hawaiian.
You know who that is.
Forthefree.us. Now, for our newest Patreon members, which there are a lot, thank you, Mr. Tim Dillon. So guys, this month I will be at Soul Joel's Comedy Club on the 30th. Get your tickets. It's a character show. Sergio will be with me. And so will Marisa be there. I'm doing Marisa at that show. That's it. That's going to be a character show. So if you're in the Philly area, you out there by Royersford, Pennsylvania, go to my website, YannisPappas.com. YannisPappasComedy.com to get those tickets. That's it. It's going to be characters, going to be crazy. So get those tickets July 30th this month. Then I'm going to be in Tampa. I'm going to be in Richmond, Virginia. I am going to be in San Antonio, Texas. So go get those tickets, YannisPappasComedy.com to see me live. Now for our newest Patreon members, we got Alex Johnson. Welcome. Mama's Hyenas Supercharged Mama Hyena's Supercharged Pseudo Penis in Heat Ladder 14, cuz. Very good. Full-blown Greek kid, so bring extra flowers to my funeral. Those were two back-to-back Hall of Famers. Turkish man paying Ottoman reparations. Now we're getting good. Those are three Hall of Famers in a row. Sir Ryan G. of the Smithtown Water Department. I mean, those were four. Kevin Curtis Nelson, Michael Sauce Monkey Amato, Kevin Motz, Mimi Callis, Tikanis, Kevin Maguire, Irish Kid, AJ Lunt, Gareth Turner, COVID negative Eastern Hemi with the Perma Semi, Asian Kid, Tim, Josh Corbin, Lamprecht, Derek, Tyler Reed, Kyle, Safal, Raut, Chitri. Safal, Raut, Chitri. That's a Stone Cold Sandra D. Then we got Meyer Fisher. Then Ethan Oha. Otter My Clocks, Darren Albrecht, Chris Cardone, welcome. Bum Man, Bum Man. Then we got Kurt Kennedy. We got some funny ones, man. Welcome, guys. Patreon.com/Yanni LongDays. Go join. Ryan Bird, welcome. Mike Bottomley, Rav Deep, Aurora, John, Ethan Moore, Chris, Hello Tea Time, Bruce, Conian Walters, OBJ's Fecal Fetish. Is that OBJ? Who's that? Odell Beckham Jr. Yeah, Odell Beckham Jr. He has a fecal. Oh, yeah. They're saying he's gay. That's funny. Very funny. Hall of Fame. Philip Farrelly, Patrick Kennedy, Courtney R., Marjorie Rose. Somebody's grandma's here. Jordan W., Emilio Martinez, Keenan Blanchard, Will, Brian Rubin, Jake Dom Gaiman, Logan Bird, Old Mikey Fumes, Neck Brace, Cameron Murphy, TT's Folgers Can, Matthew Veit, Jacob Pierce, David Lenhart. Backyard Bar Wars premiering July 8th only on True TV. Francis Charland, Hillary clipped him. Very funny. Colin Walsh, Dustin Linder, Tony Rice and Beans, not to be confused with Franks and Beans Mejias, Arya Afshang, Houston Rockets fan, Sean Donapel, Aaron Hunter, Lucas Maloney, Kyle Obarski, Justin Van Landingham, Tassos, use this $5 to buy Schultz a do-rag, Pappas. Hillary Clifton was hilarious. Bartek, Karen Mullen, Daniel Woods, this guy just put letters. Deans and X, Charles Robinson, Danny Kane. That kid just came for the Tim Dillon episode and just put some fucking quick things. Danny Kane, James, Fonzo Cavillo, Andrew Will Height, Brett Carlson. Welcome, guys. Patreon.com/Yanni LongDays. Go for the funny name. Try to get into the Hall of Fame. Then we got MK, Ashton, Oscar, Parker, Tim DePerry, Kyle, Philip, Shane Ramsey, Mrs. Jewelry Masters, Christopher Carrion, Taylor Vargas, Jack Geiger, Nino DePaulo, Grow Sensei, Robert Stobie, Vinny Garcia, Dave Stauffer, Stephen Bonilla, Gabriel Butcher, Stephanie Yessen, Dio Brandon, Jared Parsons, Justin Guai, Hunter Biden's crack pipe, Nicholas Sansone, or Sansoni, Italian, Kent Duplantis, Greg, Dion Skinner, EB, Joe Burdine, Evan Patricelli, Justin Swiputa, Ron, Randy, Marco Sid, Paul Russell, Not Jack, Mackenzie, Evan Joseph, Cayenne, Jackson, Sam, Jacob Powell, Chris Jones, Michael LaRusso, Maddie, John, Kyle, Samuel Kaplan. All of you guys, welcome to the Patreon at patreon.com/Yanni LongDays. Also, Jeff, Frank, Jeffrey Anderson, Martin, Trevor Lehman, Alice, Mr. Mojo Risen, Slide Slick, Mill, Dale Mulqueeny, Joey Mole, Brian Reynolds, Tony Crown, Jadi, Tim Dillon is straight, Michael Luna, Nicholas Ortega, Will Seinborg, Jen is for Rome Giosio. And she is. Jen, yeah, good call. I have to take you for my harem now. Then we got Ryan Bisessi, Charles Camacho, Mikey Hanrahan, Irish, big time, bad. Nathan Smith, Prakash Waggle, Skylar Davis, Dennis Gately, Dan Bullman Photography. Dan Bullman Photography, screwed in. Kellock, Monte Willis. Tzatziki gets Yanni freaky in a dashiki. Adam Curry, Tim Armstrong, Tommy Kekonen, Brandon, that's a Finnish kid, Brandon Carpenter, Colin Adamy, Dan, Rob Silva, Chris Iacono, Tyler Powers, Mark Norman's trans babysitter, Brandon Palmer, Dustin Creswell, Sarah Metton, Josh Heinel, Jeremy Beyer, James Gewanter, Max McGreevy, Christopher Hall, Irma Brand, Steve Ray. And last but not least, patreon.com/Yanni LongDays for weekly bonus episodes and more. Hopsolite, Christopher Smith, Max, Anthony Fortunato. Jesus, that's Italian. Russian asset. Too excited over nothing. Chet Choldensky, Sashim Mims Truther, Andy Rexford. First drop the squeaky middle-aged theme park enthusiast sharing questionable life directions for YouTube to enjoy. M. Heller, Katrina Hayes, dinner with Joe Rogan in Austin, which is industry code for getting raped by Joe Rogan in Austin. Welcome. Timothy McGeevna, Luke Wild, Francisco Zavala, Andrew Kier, Brett Hall, Andrew Matty, Graham Parker, Brian M., Angel, Patrick Hines, Louis Silva, Alex Michael, Michael Mayer, Roberto Cibrian, Joseph Papa, Anthony Ramirez, Zach Wall, my best friend Chris Chatzuglu, Madeline Hall, J.D. Havrilla, Maddie Matriarchy, there you go, Maddie, Ryan and Tank, CT, Landon Zerkelbach, Reno D, Jay, Parker Morris, James, Chris Maloney, Kyle Sickle, Nicole Rizzuto, make sure the garlic's sliced in, Pally, unemployed crisis actor. That's the best one probably. Or those first four were good. Max Sudfield, Josh Vincent, Jim McGrath, and Travis. So, patreon.com/Yanni LongDays. We'll see you next week.
It's been a long